doesn't do Sholom.
Okay. We got, all right. Shabbat Shalom. How's everybody doing? Good. I'm glad to hear it. And I'm glad you're here. And it's a big, lots of stuff going on this weekend here, so that's nice. I got my Illinois driver's license this week. Yay! That means I'm gonna hang around for a little while, yeah. And it took 3 tries, by the way. Yes, they sent me away twice because they said the computers were down. Although everybody around me was getting their license. But the third...
Welcome to Illinois.
Yeah, I guess so. But the third time, I had the same person all 3 times. It's a little more complicated than that, but more or less I had the same person. Third time she made a call to someone higher up who, I guess, removed the felonies from my record, and I don't know. But in any case, by that third time, after a phone call, I was able to get my Illinois driver's license. And based on the rest of my family who got theirs the week before, I'm thinking that it should arrive. I have the paper copy, but I think the actual card for my wallet should arrive on around Thursday. We'll see. They said give it 2 weeks. So I'll let you know. Okay? So that was a big accomplishment this week. And after a week of a lot of accomplishments, a lot of time here in the office and around town, it's good to be back to make it Shabbat. And we do that beginning on page 10. Maya Hayom is the second from the top. And if you know it, sing with me. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome also to everyone who's joining us through our live stream on YouTube. I would say it's good to see you, but all I see is a camera. So I hope it's good to see me. If not, tell me about it later. I got a thing, okay? Thank you. All right, let's continue now with Shabbat candle blessings. And thank you, David Weisbaum, who's agreed to help lead us. We will continue with the candle blessings on pages 3 and 2.
Before you do, Asher Kitchen of Mitzvah, Bitzibanu, Lahalik Ner, Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you. continue on page 8. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose. Through prayer, I can sense my inner joy and my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us, and to bring that vision to life. Service now continues on page 20. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabla Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabla Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu el ha'meyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet v'litila Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabla 2 likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha ki mekor ha'bracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tefila Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabla Hitoreri Kiva orech kumi Uri shir daberi Kevod Adonai alayach megillah Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabla 9 Boi b'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'bzola Tochem unei am segula Boi chala Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabla Our service continues on the bottom of page 27. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on the facing page 26. Join me as you're able. Yikada v'yikadash shemei rabbah B'yalma divrach kirtei b'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'b'yomecho u'chayedecho beit Yisrael Ba'gala u'izman karib v'imru amen Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam me'amaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei nekudasha barichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'yama v'imru amen. We continue now with Baruch Hu, our call to worship, which is on page 28/146. If you've got 2 page numbers like I do at the bottom of your page. Page 28, we rise. Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Page 31/149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 32/150. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta. Together in the English, everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us in mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Pages 34 and 35, alternately 152 and 153. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You may be seated. On the next page, 36/154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'odecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'vlechtecha b'derech u'v'shofbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'lohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiot lachem l'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 39/157 at the top of the page. Standing at the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 40/158. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, no ratahilo o sefele, no ratahilo o sefele, malchutecha ra'uvanecha, okei ayam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai ga'al Yisrael. Page 42. Together in the middle of the page. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, for your name's sake. Be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44, in the middle of the page. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei Shavihi Shabbat, Kulam Yisbu Bitangu Mituvecha Shabbat, Yismechu V'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat, Yismechu V'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, chemdat yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher Lema'aseh v'reishit Shabbat, Zecher Lema'aseh v'reishit Shabbat, Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat, Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. We continue at the bottom of page 47/165. God has placed abilities and challenges in our hearts without regard to gender. Each of us has the duty, whether man or woman, to realize those gifts God has given us. With that in mind, we continue on the facing page 46/164 as we rise for tefillah, which will continue on the next few even-numbered pages. Adonai Sifetai Tikta Ufi Agite Milatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Ha'gibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula L'Ibnei B'neihem, L'Man Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'elam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rab lehoshia. Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim berofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayeh me'emunato lishenei afar. Mika mocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. At the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. Together, may all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Page 57. In the middle of the page. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubts, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance, and let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks together for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh le'odot. Page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses your people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We take a moment now for our own personal silent prayer. Yehiyu leratzon imrefi, vehegyon libi lefanecha. Yehiyu leratzon imrefi, vehegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, v'gohali. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, v'gohali. Yehiyu leratzon imrefi, v'hegyon libi lefanecha. Our service continues with a couple of prayers for the congregation and our larger community, beginning with a prayer for healing. And our prayer for healing, the words for the prayer are on page 253/371. And we include in our healing prayers on this Shabbat, Joni Abramowitz, Lucy Karen, Kenny Elliott, Lynn Goldstein, Renee Gordon, Grady Holly, Margaret Gerstle Lamb, Harvey Rothschild, Ronnie Schatz, Sarah Stone, Debbie Weiner, and David Robinson. And I invite anyone who would like to add a name for healing to stand where you are and add their name. Any loved ones you'd like to include for healing?
Kent Cooper.
Perry Sager.
Okay. For all of them, we additionally are including in our hearts, for those of you who are joining us virtually and are thinking of loved ones, again, page 253/371. Mi she'ebera avotenu mikor habracha v'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi she'ebera imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And we continue now with a prayer for the state of Israel, which can be found in our book on page 259/377. Sha'alu Sholom Yerushalayim Yishlanu Ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shebashamayim, O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shielded beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light of truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. And let us say, Amen. Okay. The magazine Psychology Today reported on an experiment conducted by a Harvard psychologist named Dr. Robert Rosenthal on a group of students and teachers living in Jerusalem, of all places. The experiment went as follows. A group of physical education teachers and students were randomly chosen and randomly divided into 3 groups. In the first group, the teachers were told that the previous testing indicated that the students had an average ability in athletics and an average potential. The teachers were told then, go and train them. The second group, teachers were told that students in their group, based on previous testing, exhibited an unusually high potential for excellence in athletics. Go and train them. And the third group of teachers were told that their group of students had exhibited, based on previous testing, an extremely low potential for athletic training. Now go and train them. You might have an idea where this is going. The teachers were given several weeks to work and interact with their students. At the end of the training, the results were the same for male and female students and for male and female teachers. All of those students who had been randomly identified as being rather average in ability performed about average on tests. All of those who were randomly identified as being above average performed above average. All those who were randomly identified as below average performed below the average by a considerable margin. The results of the test indicate that what the teachers thought their students' ability was, and what the students themselves thought their ability was, went a long way toward deciding just how well they performed as athletes. So the first step toward becoming an Olympic gold medalist obviously must be an inner feeling that you are, in fact, capable of being one. Psychology Today took special note of this experiment because it confirmed in the physical arena what psychologists have long claimed to be true in the educational and emotional arena, that the concept of a self-fulfilling prophecy, students in classrooms, workers in shops, patients in therapy, all do better when the person in charge expects them to do well, when they themselves expect to do well. One's own self-esteem, one's own self-image, what someone thinks of themselves and thinks of himself or herself capable of, is an extremely crucial factor in deciding what can be, of what one is to make of himself or herself. And the way we see ourselves plays an important role in the way others see us. This concept of self-fulfilling prophecy and the importance of self-image helps explain an interesting question raised in a verse from our Torah portion on this Shabbat, Parshat Akev. Our Torah portion, Akev, presents Moses reviewing the history of the Jewish people as they traveled on their way to the Promised Land. He encourages their continued faith in God as they confront the challenge of conquering the land without Him. He says to them, Ki tomar bilvavecha rabim hagoim ha'ele mimani acha ucha lehor risham. Perhaps you will say in your heart, these nations are more numerous than I. How will I be able to drive them out? Do not fear them, he continues. You shall remember what God did for you and to all of Egypt. Have no fear, says Moses. God will be with you. A great sage was puzzled by this. Now, Moses tells the Jewish people not to be afraid, that God will be with them in helping them to conquer the inhabitants of the land of Israel. Now, Moses tells them that. But why didn't he tell them that years earlier? Years earlier, when the Jews sent spies to scout out the land of Israel, and the majority of the spies came back and said, Lo nuchal la'alot ha'al ha'am ki chazak hu mimenu. We cannot ascend to that people, for it is too strong for us. Why didn't Moses tell them then? Don't worry. God will be with you. Don't worry. Remember what God did for you in the land of Egypt. Now he assures them that God will be with them. Then they were punished and denied the right to enter the promised land. Why the difference in the reaction? Maybe it's Moses who actually has learned something here. Maybe after the awful incident with the spies and their failure to believe that they could ever enter the promised land, this time he tells the Jews, look, it's going to be okay. I realize you may get scared, but you can do this. And you have the biggest power in the universe on your side. Toward this end, I recall speaking to a child in elementary school. It was about this time of year, a few years back, and I asked him about school starting up again. Much to my astonishment, he said, I'm not very smart. I was stunned. Why should a child ever say this about himself or herself? Someone failed if a child is telling a rabbi he's not very smart, when that was even not the question that I asked. I heard in the discussions of Michael Phelps, remember him? And his 8 gold medals, that he had a teacher who advised his mother that he could never focus on anything and she shouldn't have high expectations of him. Did she listen? Did you see who Michael Phelps' biggest fan was, who cheered him on more than anyone else in his Olympics? It was his mother. Who did he have to hug after winning all his 8 medals? The mother who refused to accept that he was a failure. The mother that told him he was a winner. Moses assured our biblical ancestors we would survive and succeed. And today, despite the fact that other peoples have risen and fallen, despite the efforts of some of the most evil leaders and their most evil armies, we survive and Israel is strong. Think of Moses the next time you hear a child say, I'm not very smart. Incidentally, my first reaction to that child was, who told you that? What would happen if Michael Phelps' mother said, well, this teacher of yours says you're never going to amount to anything. She says you can't focus, so why should I give you swimming lessons if you can't do it? What do you imagine would have happened? What would have happened if Moses said, look, my people, I don't know if you're up to this. You made that golden calf, you whined in the desert. The first spies I sent to the promised land were complete and utter failures. I just don't know if you're going to make it after I'm gone. What if Moses' last speech to the Jewish people was that? where do you imagine we'd be today? Think of that time, think of that the next time a loved one is sick. People sometimes say to me, I don't want to go visit my friend in the hospital. What should I say? Well, how about if we say, I believe you can get well. I believe your pain will go away. I believe you are strong enough to get out of this bed, to walk again, to go back home. True, there are times when we must face the inevitable, but there are so many times when it seems hope is lost that a person, especially a young person, can turn tragedy into victory, and what we say to that person can make all the difference in what they actually accomplish. What if the difference in how a person turns out depends on what you and I say to them? What would Torah have us say? Shabbat Shalom. Okay, back in our books now, we turn to Aleinu on page 282/586.
The back in business, Rabbi.
What's that? You're back?
Back in business.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody please rise as we open the ark doors. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tein gedula li'aseh breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei hagatzot, velo samanu kimishpachot adama, shelo samchelkeinu kahem, v'goraleinu kechol hamonah. V'anachnu kodim, u'mishavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. You may be seated. Page 287/591. V'nehemar v'haya Adonai lemelech ha'kol ha'aretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemaho Page 290/594. Number 5. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, a thing for foolishness, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love what death has touched. 293/597. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. As I continue with our Temple Brief Sholom memorial list, I invite you, when you hear the name of a loved one, to rise in recognition of your loved one, as our list begins with the names of those who died in the past year. we remember Ralph Hurwitz, Hazel Holly, Betty Hurwitz, Mary Bennett, Tammy Adams, and Sonia Richardson. We add to their names the names of those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of whose passing we commemorate at this time. Doris Abramowitz, Tofik Arjmand, Jacob Bamberger, David Broida, Richard S. Cohen, Jean D. Cohn, Tessie Friedman, Helen A. Friedman, Sarah Edith Gardiner, Joseph M. Greenberg, Samuel Litvak, Jason Long, Yetta Morantz, Robert H. Pittman, Louis J. Samuels, Bertie S. Samuels, Maxine W. Weiner. And if anyone would like to add a name of a loved one who died recently or who died in the past year, please share their name.
Carl King II.
Corinne Myers-Stransky.
Then, if those of us seated will rise in solidarity with those already standing, we turn together to page 294, /598, and join in the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, v'alma v'barach Yeruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei b'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Lo Me'omaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei Dekudesha Barikhu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tush Bechata V'nechamata, Da'amiram V'yalma V'yimru Amen. Yehei Sholom Rabbah Min Shemayim, V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Aseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and together let us say, Amen. You may be seated. Okay. Announcements about what's coming up for Temple B'rith Shalom and our community. So tomorrow at 6 p.m. is the envelope party hosted by our sisterhood here. 1:30 p.m. here is board orientation. And then on Friday, August 30th at 6 p.m., will be a Shabbat service with a board installation. There is more coming up, some of which is on your service handout. Also this week, I was at a planning meeting for an October 7th commemoration. I said October 6th because we chose October 6th as the day for the community commemoration. And that'll be here, October 6th, at 10 a.m. And while some people will be in Sunday school, we're going to invite them to come to our commemoration as well. And that's being organized by a committee that's set up through the Jewish Federation. So there'll be some music and commemorating those who are passed, and of course praying for the hostages who still remain in custody in Gaza. Anything else in the community that I've left out? Yes, sir?
You left out one of the big things.
Oh.
With the girls.
What's that?
I heard they got their own car.
Ah, yes, well, normally I don't include stuff like that in announcements, but if girls you're watching, mazel tov on your new car. Keep it clean. All right. Sam?
We're not going to have the board installation on the 30th.
Oh,
because the big shot president is not gonna be here.
oh, okay.
He's
So-
having surgery that day.
So, correction on one of my earlier announcements, no board installation on the 30th. Maybe we'll move it to a time when
She announced.
the big shot president is healed.
Yeah.
Okay. Sam, we'll be thinking of you and including you in our healing prayers for a speedy recovery.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? No? Okay. Well, if you think of something that's coming up that you'd like included in our announcements, reach out to me or to the temple office during the week and let us know so we can include that. And our closing song is on page 321/625. Adon Olam. Oh, after this, before our closing song, after this, join us for an oneg, which normally would be downstairs, but since downstairs is mostly set up for the envelope party, then we'll be over, I think, in the lobby upstairs. Maybe downstairs in front of the setup for the. Okay. But it's roped off, so we don't mess up the setup for the envelope party. So if you see plates and forks and knives and things like that set up, it's not for our oneg, that's for tomorrow. Okay, page 625. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra v'yein nasa l'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu koveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara v'hu echad v'yein sheni l'hamshilo l'hachmira b'li reshit b'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'ha'misra v'hu eli v'chai go'ali v'tzorchem li b'tzara v'hu nisi umanos li v'makosi b'yom ekra Be'ado afkid ruchi, be'edi sham ve'ayira, ve'im ruchi geviyati, Adonai li ve'lo ira. Shabbat shalom.